Okay, let me begin. First of all, we start with an ordinary deck of bicycle playing cards. These are mixed and shuffled, which I will explain now and show you. You open the box, you will remove all the cards and of course any jokers if there are any. You don't need the box or the jokers at this point, so place those to one side. The cards are mixed in whatever favoured way, and you would shuffle these quite thoroughly. Okay. These would then be offered to your spectator, who would be asked to give these cards a single cut. As they do that, you take one remainder of these cards and you place them to one side. In other words, discarding probably just under half the pack. At this point, your spectator would be holding this top half of your pack, and you would ask them to deal this into two packets, two alternating piles, as though they're playing a card game. So I in this situation will do exactly that of what would now be being done by your spectator. Okay, once this is then completed, you then simply state that one pile may be more than the other, because generally we do not know how many cards we are working with, hence the fairness of this. So there could be no stack deck, no systems, Gilbreth principles or anything like that, because we don't know the amount that's in each pile. On top of this, we don't know what cards are in each pile or packet, so quite plain and simply you would ask them to pick either pile, and whichever pile they choose, they can also decide to discard that pile or to keep that pile. It's entirely their free choice, and it genuinely is a free choice. There is no force work in this whatsoever. So for argument's sake, they want to keep this pile and they would get rid of this one. So they've now kept this pile. You quite clearly and simply state that there is probably approximately 10 or 15 cards in that pack. So you offer them the chance to take a few away or simply add a few more. It's entirely up to them, or of course they can stick with what they have. In this case, what I'm going to decide to do, in which case what mostly happens is the spectator will say, no, I'm happy with what I have. I'd just like to clarify that they could have taken extra if they wanted to. Now they take this packet and deal 4 alternating piles, and again you might have a pile with more or less cards than the others. In this case I actually luckily ended up with 4 equal piles. Now at this point everything has been totally fair in the spectator's mind. They have held on to the pack the entire time. However, what does change is the fact that they've held on to everything. They've shuffled the cards, they've cut the cards, they've chosen which packets that they want, and including the dealing and taking of the cards. But the real strange thing is when they turn over every single top card of each pile, they end up with the 4 aces. Thank you. This next routine is my follow-on from that, which quite simply I would have everything examined, show that there's no stacked cards, there's no other alternating cards in the cards already on the table, the aces themselves are all ordinary, and of course there's no order in the pack. In returning these aces, I quite clearly state that obviously there is one of each suit, in which case I then ask the simple question, do they know the actual names of these suits? For argument's sake, in this case we have the first one, which is the spades, then we've got diamonds, we've also got clubs and hearts. 4 cards with 4 different suits. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4 cards, 4 suits, 2 red, 2 black. clubs, hearts, spades and diamonds. I now ask a person to hold on to these in between the hands, so I can't go near those. Since I don't have a spectator, I'm going to simply place a card box over the top there, so you can see the cards, but obviously I can't go near it. At this point, what I would simply do is ask the spectator to name any one of those suits. For example purposes, we're going to go with diamonds, okay? We'll use diamonds as an example. So I would now clearly and cleanly ask the spectator to open the hands and to spread the cards across their palm. In doing so, they will very quickly realise that there are only 3 cards. Nothing is stuck, but there are genuinely only 3 cards. There is a spades, there is a heart, and there is a clubs. So the named suit has now disappeared. It is totally vanished, and cleanly I show it's not on the top, and of course it's not on the bottom. In fact, if I ribbon spread this pack, straight away you will see 1 card. 1 card reversed in the entire pack, and of course if we reverse that card, that is the thought of card reappeared in the centre of the deck. My next routine utilizes simply the 4 aces just themselves, where now I take the 4 aces, showing them diamonds, clubs, hearts and of course spades. I now take the first top card, the clubs, and I place it down on the table, on the mat, or in someone's hand. They hold on to that. Cleanly again I display that I am only using 3 cards. I take the next card out from the centre and show them that that is the next black card, in this case spades, and I place that along with the first. Now that leaves me with only 2 cards. 2 cards of the same colour and same everything, which commonly would be the reds, but in this case I'm using the blacks. In which case the cards in their hand have now switched for the ones that I was using.